Here, shades are coming on. There's too much lights and too much Nile special. Ruben, have you opened the fridge a bit?
Yes, I can't complain about the Nile special. Plenty. The whole day's experience.
Watching rugby and drinking Nile special, I mean, why would I complain? Government to forget.
Yeah, so as we get our formation in place, we have...
I know, we need to organize this again.
We have our formation in place. We have one of the players of the rugby team. That is the Uganda Rugby 15s. Mr. Michael To, how are you? You watched the game, you saw the national team come in. What is your assessment of that game particularly?
I think my assessment basing on the Kenya-Zambia game, Kenya has been a decent team onto this game. But also nonetheless, I think the true Zambia came out, which was not in the previous game we had with Uganda.
Yes.
Yes. Via defense, it was pound for pound. Yeah. I think the decency of Kenya comes in whereby even the tall, big guy goes for a chop tackle.
Yes.
So that is where the beauty of today's game was.
Okay, considering that beauty of the game, the national team came in glad in their shirts. They took a seat in the corner. All these other sides of the pitch were making noise safe for their part. They were trying to analyze the game to see where they could match up and patch up. What do you have to say about that from the Ugandan perspective?
Well, I think in the Ugandan perspective or in the Ugandan camp, we would say it's a blessing in disguise.
Yes.
And the game being a midweek game ahead of our game on Sunday. Yeah, tactically it is also good to see the input Kenya is putting as we gear up for their games, see the loopholes and see how we can match them up. And yeah, it was glad that all the 28-man squad was here seated watching, seeing, yeah, if player A can do this, I think I can beat him at this. I think it is a good match and the boys are gearing up. I think also they've gone back nodding their head that at least they've picked something from this game.
Yeah, any of you see a Uganda Rugby Cranes player here still partaking of Michael Ouma, please slap them and tell them to go back to the hotel. They are supposed to partake in some drills in the swimming pool, some S&C, and then prepare. But listen, one of the discussions we have had here is that Kenya has been put in a position where they have to play Uganda after a 3-day rest period, and Uganda has had nearly a period of a week. Considering your experience playing in the national team, how impactful is a period of rest of 1 week as opposed to those who have rested for 3 days?
Talk of the rest of 1 week and a rest of 3 days. Let us put it in a layman's term that active rest.
Yeah.
Yes. The active rest is very important because much as guys are not having the game or the midweek game, in place they're also having gym sessions. They're also having hill work every morning at 6 a.m. After breakfast, maybe they go and rest, then they have a pool session, at least to kind of relax their muscles. Amidst that, they've also been having midweek training, just like any other normal training day. So with this, I think the S&C and the medical docs are trying to see that each and every player gets at par with what is coming ahead. It would have also been Uganda maybe playing on a day like today.
Yeah.
And maybe also we would maybe be playing another game in 3 days' time. So it is a win-win situation, but now it's upon how you take the active rest. By getting back, resting, having your scheduled time of engagement with the S&C or the pool session, depending on the program running at the camp. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we've seen the Uganda team jump onto their shuttle to go back to their hotel. I've not seen one player. I've been noticing the whole day, but that's a story for another day after the game. But you've played Kenya before. Michael Kwambo came here and said that Kenya has changed their style. They are more of like, they used to be bang bang, now they are play rugby the way it comes. Pass, bank pass, carry, and what? Considering your experience of the bang bang, tell us about the bang bang first. Then you tell us about their new style after.
I think with the bang bang comes after the first 10 minutes of defense, because that is where pressure mounts for you to stabilize into the game. Then the bang bang comes maybe in the 40th to 50th minute.
Yeah.
That is pound for pound. And I think most of the teams can't take that to the 80th minute. That is now where we need also forwards to have that swiftness. We need running forwards. You get?
Yeah, Ruben, one of our guests came on here earlier and was mentioning how essential the forwards are going to be and how mobile they will be. How important it is for 6, 7, 8, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3 to be able to move in defense at the same time in attack.
Definitely, it all goes back to the work of the forwards. Firstly, like I've been saying since Victoria Cup was about to start, the forwards are going to win us these games. And you saw in the first game when we got a bit of organization in our forwards, we got good ball and good platform, and then the backs could play. Same thing with Kenya, and even more importantly with Kenya, the intensity, the physicality, and also on the defensive platforms, not allowing them to beat us past the gain line. How can we be able to stop them? But in attack, how can we be able to have proper ball set up for Ivan Magomo and company to play what they want to play, to give them the liberty to play away from pressure? So it's important for our forwards to have, one, the synergy to work as a unit, but even in their individual roles, from the scrummaging and everything, how are they in position to ideally match up with the person next to them, but also be able to do that extra work, which goes back to the mobility you're talking about. So yeah, it's an important thing, and yeah, great experience.
Yeah, as Michael Sophie said, considering how important it is to get that gain line, particularly to have Magom dictate. Coach Emo came here and said that Magom is the key piece that Uganda attacks from, and Kenya now has 2 fly-ups that they will be using as their axis of attack. So you would basically expect the Ugandan flankers or even the forwards to dedicate a few hits, big hits here and there to unsettle and unnerve the Kenyans in their attack as they try to go forward against Uganda.
Yeah, definitely.
I think as you're even talking about that on our screen, as we're watching the highlights of the Kenya-Zambia game, I think John Kubu has been watching the Rugby World Cup and Boden Barrett and also I think a bit of Mapimpi. I mean, not Mapimpi, Limbok. Limbok. I wanted to say Limbok. I wanted to relax. Don't get your pennies in a bunch. Relax. The cross kick, he put in a beautiful cross kick for the winger, number 14, to score. But that was just amazing to see things like that. And we have to pay particular attention to the fact that Kenya is thinking out of the box. How is Uganda going to think out of the box? But as you're thinking out of the box, how are you also staying true to the basics, making sure that we get our tackles right, get our rucks and our scrums right, get our set pieces in check, do the basics right, then we can think outside the box. But if we can't even get the basics right, there's no point in playing.
Yeah, thinking out of the box, we have a man who tends to think a lot outside the box when it comes to rugby. Abraham Kiniga, you came here at halftime, you're back for second half, full time. Kenya won the game. What do you have to say about that performance of Kenya?
Congratulations to the Kenyans. They are now top of the table on points difference. And they've put out a statement to the Ugandan crowd about their ability to execute. So that's it's a strong step forward for them. And Zambia have been a victim of the fixture list. They've been
They didn't have good bargaining power.
they've been forced to play. Yeah,
Economics didn't work for them.
they've been forced to play 2 intense rugby games in a space of
3 days,
4 days. And you could see at the end that they were struggling. You could see, but the Kenyans just laid them to rest. They extended. The scoreboard pressure was too much for the Zambians in the end.
No, but you see Zambia scored 12 more points in their game against Uganda, but they did concede more as well. What did you think about their efforts in terms of those kicks where penalties were accumulating against Kenya?
Say this game was an even contest for the 80 minutes. If Zambia for about 70 minutes it was an even contest. Then at the end, the final 10 minutes, that's when Kenya extended that. For the final 10 minutes, it was 24-12. By the 70th minute, it was 24-12. That means if Zambia had a place kicker who was able to convert the other 4 penalties, at that point the game would have been even. So at that point, that is when the Kenyans stretched their lead. That's when the fixture list and the 3-day rest period comes into play, and it's all against the Zambians.
Can you imagine rugby is that tight? You have to start, stop, and then start again. We were talking to Michael To earlier, and he was mentioning that Uganda could have found themselves in this position where they had to play 2 games in 3 days, but the coaching team has to come up and condition the players to be able to withstand the pressures of that. Even the team that has spent 1 week on rest still has to do active sessions like gym, the S&C, then going through their plays.
This all goes back to the S&C. How do you condition a player after they've had 3 days, after 3 days of game, they've played 3 games? Are they used to this kind of intensity? So it goes back to how the league has been structured. Each game is after a week. So most players have mostly a week's rest. So that ability, there has to be some sort of blue sky thinking about how you're going to improve the players' S&C during that period of time.
Yeah. Talking about S&C, we have seen a few videos, not this year, not last year, but years before COVID, where we saw cricket players and football players doing rugby drills, courtesy of Helen Buteme. Helen, nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Yes, you punished a few people, and we were us who have played rugby were clapping in the background and saying, thank you very much for punishing those guys. Let them understand that why we make too much noise for more funding in rugby is because of those drills, the S&C.
Yeah, but it wasn't rugby drills we were doing, it was actually S&C. People thought it was rugby drills because they know I have a rugby background. But when you look at S&C, the foundation can cut across all sports, and then it reaches a point where you have to specialize your S&C for particular sports. So I was doing that with the football and with the cricket as well.
Yeah. Now, before we go into the rugby, particularly this game, the S&C conditioning. Kenya has just finished this game. It was one for the guys who have had on set. I've said it's rather quite disappointing. They expected more from Kenya in terms of executing a game plan, and they finished the opposition to obliteration, but they didn't do that. Now, how do you get to recover that particular team, preparing against a team that has had nearly a week's rest, nearly 4 or 5 days of rest?
Firstly, when you look at the Kenya team, they had 13 debutants, 7 of them starting, so the team wasn't as fluid as they would have wanted to be, and they were playing a Zambian team that at least had a game to gel. Though on the other hand, for Zambia, the last international game they had was about July 2021. They had no international games last year. So Saturday's game was their first international game. Then they had only 3 days to recover. and then play a very physical Kenya side. And then Zambia is also a very physical side. And they played the exact same lineup. Starting 15 were the same, and the subs were the same. Yes, it was exactly the same. So there were some very tired bodies out there. But credit to Zambia, they disrupted the Kenya game, and Kenya in the end deviated from the initial game plan, and that's what made them look so disjointed. And I guess it's because there were so many debutants, they weren't able to calm down. You know, when you have experienced players, they're able to calm things down and stick to the structure. But with so many debutants, it just went all over the place. And so, yes, it was disappointing from Kenya. We expected more from them. But they managed to get a win, which is what they'd come to do. And now they have 3 days to recover and then play Uganda that has had 8 days, you could say.
Yeah, for a team that had 13 debutants, they went quick on the scoreboard, 14-0 in nearly under 15 minutes. One of the driving maul, which was not characteristic in Uganda's game against Zambia. And then at the same time, a cross kick, which was also not part of the feature game against Zambia. So what do you have to say about their chances against Uganda on the weekend?
First things first, they have to recover. Sure, they're very tired bodies in the Kenya camp. It was a brutal game. But the players that will replace the debutants have the advantage of having more experience. So perhaps it was very smart of Kenya to have so many debutants in this game, and then they can call it an experience of the players who sat out, and these will be fresh bodies, and then bringing on experience and cool heads. When it comes to recovery, probably day off tomorrow or just some light recovery just to get the muscles moving and not to stiffen up, maybe poolside recovery, or maybe doing self-myofascial massage with the foam rollers, you know, that sort of thing, nothing too hectic. And then probably having a proper training session on Friday, captain's run on Saturday, and then they're good to go, you know. And the advantage Kenya has is they've been playing consistently for quite a while. They had the World Cup qualifiers last year, and then they had the Currie Cup in South Africa as well earlier this year. They didn't finish it. They had to pull out due to financial constraints. But the few games they had, they were able to pick something from there. You know, and then they've been in camp, I think in Kakamega, preparing for the Victoria Cup and the Elgon Cup. And according to the head coach, Jerome Parvata, he's not around for the Victoria Cup.
Flying in Dubai on Sunday.
So he'll be in Kisumu for the return leg of the Elgon Cup. But he's using these games to build for the future. He's looking at 2027, so he's planning ahead. And so that's probably why they chose to flood the squad with so many debutants. I mean, what better opportunity than this?
Yeah, so Uganda is rebuilding, Zambia is rebuilding, Kenya is rebuilding. What's this rebuild thing about? Tell our fans about it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, when we're all looking at qualifying for a World Cup, you need to start right from the age grades and then move people through, you know. Kenya have 4 people in the squad who have come through the under-20s from 2019 to 2022. And Zambia also have a couple of under-19s from 2019 to 2023. So when you are able to consistently push people through from age grade to senior rugby, having them move through the structures, then you're building a nice platform. And you've got to ensure that you have the same structures of play right from age grade through to the senior level, so that when you bring players from the age grade level to senior level, you're not throwing them into something totally different, into the deep end, you know. It's not something that we've managed to get right in Uganda. You have everybody playing different game plans. All the clubs have their different game plans. All the national teams have their different game plans. But at some point in the future, we've got to try and align everything. So maybe not playing the exact same, but the structures are similar, like what you have in New Zealand. So when you bring people in from different clubs, from different age groups, it's very easy for people to fit in because they sort of have a blueprint that is followed right around the country. And Kenya is kind of trying to do that, you know. They've got a lot of emphasis on age grade rugby. And then you have coaches a lot of the times moving from age grade right up through with the players, you know. And it's really great to see. And So at the moment, Kenya seems to be on the right track, and Uganda has a lot of work to do to step up to the same level if we're going to realistically talk about challenging Namibia, because everybody is gunning for Namibia to get them away from that perpetual World Cup slot, which seems to be theirs. So we're working towards Namibia, and they don't do great at age grade, but senior level, they've got players playing in South Africa, players playing in Europe, so they count on that. So if we can counter that by firming up the structures in our own countries at local level, and then if we can manage to get some of our players playing pro rugby, we only have Philip Okorach, and you can see what a difference it's made to his rugby, and whenever he comes on for Uganda, he delivers, Yeah, so if we can have more players honing their rugby at international level, playing pro for clubs, and then they come back for Uganda, it will be a step in the right direction.
Yeah, we have to be like Tanzanians and harmonize our systems. So maybe just before you go, what do you think Uganda needs to do better to beat Kenya on the weekend?
We were very poor at protecting our ball. I mean, both Uganda and Zambia kept losing possession, but this is something that we're really, really going to have to nail down. Protect our ball, stop trying to score off the first phase, leave out some of the offloads, set that ball up, and then we need to stop players going into isolation. Too many times a Ugandan would carry the ball, and then there would be no support, no unrucking, and then Zambians would turn it over. So we need to be a lot better than that. Kenya have been very, very poor at the breakdown today. So we must make sure we play in their half, and then when they're pinned at the breakdown, we have kickable penalties. We need to build on the 3 points. Let's not think of going for the tries. Let's build on those 3 points, get the scoreboard ticking, and then when we have them rattled, we can start going for the corners, and then try for the lineouts, and then try the rolling ball. If we're successful against Zambia, I don't know if we'll be successful against Kenya, because they've got a lot of bulk in their forwards. So we've got to be careful about that. We squeezed the Zambian scrum as well. Kenya squeezed the Zambian scrum, so I don't know how effective we'll be against Kenya in the scrums. We'll have to see. But it's important that we don't play in our half. We play in their half, force them to make mistakes at the breakdown. And then, Magomu's boot was excellent. He missed just 2 kicks, and there were difficult kicks that he missed. One hit the uprights, and then one was drifted slightly wide of the post. So we've got to make use of that, and let's just hope the weather is good, bright weather, and so that we can actually see 15-man rugby played, unlike if it rains where we'll see like 8 or 10-man rugby being played.
Yeah, so we hope KPA can hire that rainmaker that Chadondo used today. Thank you very much, Helen, for your views on Ugandan rugby. That was very insightful. Now I go to the gentleman here, DJ Boogie. I'm even going to put on my shades right now. I'll put on my shades. DJ Boogie, you must be listening to him. How are you?
I'm alright, man. Very okay.
You're Kawa. Welcome back from the other thing there.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it was massive. Yeah, very well. Thank you for everyone who came through for the Boogie show. Yeah. We gave it badly. Yeah, but we're happy to be here, as always, supporting Ugandan rugby.
Yeah, Ugandan rugby. Uganda played on Saturday, Zambia. What do you have to say about that game? What was your general impression of that game?
No lie, I had a gig.
Hey, you had a gig.
So I came for the after party.
Hey, you came for the after party.
I came for the after party. No lie.
Hey.
Yeah, but at least today I came through and watched Kenya, Zambia. Then I'll also be around on Sunday to watch.
Gig economy.
Gig economy. You just see them.
Now, the gigs.
The gigs.
I'm sure. Listen. I'm sure you had, for example, when you play on rugby, you play your set on the rugby field. What do you look out for? Which songs do you particular? Do you sit down and revise your notes and say that this one will bang this one, this song will bang this one? How do you bang yourself as a DJ?
For rugby is, let's say, pretty easy.
Yeah. Really?
Easy. Pretty easy. Because you guys like what? Reggae, dancehall.
We like Nigos.
That's it. Reggae, dancehall. That's Nigos. So yeah, but you give the people the whole package. You give them everything. That's what the people experience. Like what I like about Ugandan rugby is they bring together a whole large group of people So it's people from every circle of life. So you touch this side, touch this side, touch the other side. Nema mama piano mwemuli.
Hey, actually, I was recently listening to your Amapiano Love Songs mix. And I need some Asive Happy inside there. Some Abalele inside there. So you don't sit down and make your set and plan it, or you just auto search?
No, I plan.
And I plan,
You plan your sets?
obviously, yeah. Like I plan for all sets.
Yeah.
But rugby sets are different because the rugby energy is raw. You get, so at times you plan things, then you come and you have to get off the script.
Okay.
Yeah, because of the energy in the place. So, but the rugby people are easy people, I would say.
So now as a DJ, do you have to read the energy of the crowd? You may come with your set, you know you're going to play this Chidandali, whatever, but now you see the crowd is like Pirates has lost, for example. Pirates has lost and you can't play Chidandali. You can't play redemption song. So how impactful is the crowd's energy on your set?
The energy determines the set.
Yeah.
Like you would even play and then not hit so hard just because the energy is not right. You understand? So at times you have to come in. That's why it's advisable to come early.
Oh yes.
Sit in with the people, check the vibe of the area, and then you see how to do after the show. When it comes to disco time, you know where the people are. The people are pissed to this level. The people are excited to this level. So you work with that.
There is always this big question about DJs. Requests. I want you to clear the air on the podcast. What is it about requests that you guys don't like? We're going to put the video out, so pick your right words. Why don't DJs like requests? The camera is there. Look into the camera.
Don't over. I understand there is the urge to get your song through, but there are times when your song doesn't work. But there are times a person comes and tells you a song and you're like, it works. But there are times when some of the songs don't work. We are in reggae, you're bringing an Amapiano song. So you try to work with us. It's actually a balance. If you say I'm in reggae, you come through, tell me you play this chronics, I'll give you that chronics. But now I'm in reggae, you come, as happy. I look at you like, no, what's wrong with this man?
Now let me bring in my fellow shades, babe, buddy. Patricia, how are you?
Good.
What do you have to say about DJ requests? What do you want some requests from DJs? How can we harmonize the position, DJs and requests, and the guys who are enjoying the music?
You see, in this life, for things to work properly, both sides have to understand each other. The audience has to understand that sometimes, like Boogie said, the song you're asking for does not match the vibe. But also, the DJs need to understand that sometimes I'm drunk as fuck and I don't care. So yeah, I just want to come high. I want so and so. If you can't play it for me, you don't have to play like no. But you throw it in there somewhere when it's appropriate.
Nah,
yeah?
that's why I don't teach this. But all for us, we know, as laymen, we just know. Put it, I'm a piano, can that work? It doesn't work.
But as she says,
Yes.
a person can give you a request.
And it opens your mind, and you're like, oh, okay, I'll play it like 15 minutes later. I usually tell people that. Give me some time, I see if I can fuse it in. Yeah, that works. That's a balance.
You don't just chase them out.
I know, you don't just chase. Sometimes they come and you're like, I'll play it. Then you don't.
I mean, Amapiano is special to me. You also know, you know. So now, Amapiano, I want to know, like, you know, there's Amapiano common, like what you'd call Afrobeat, the Chidandali of Amapiano, the common songs. Yeah. Then there's Amapiano roots, the one where the intro is for like 3 minutes, then the beat comes in minute 4, where it's do. So now, how do you reconcile the Amapiano Chidandali? Because there's some guys who can have nice sets, and they come and play the nice things, then they go into the Afrobeat of Amapiano that people don't like. Guys want to listen to piano events. It's a space.
No life for the rugby
People, you're not going to go deep. Rugby people, you're not going to go deep. At SG, you play some Vago deep, what?
Yeah.
No.
Vago
Guys,
deep.
No, you're already deep.
Vago deep.
Yeah, lot. Yeah, but for them, you give, for every crowd, you give it what you think they can take. Then when you go to guys who can understand deep piano, you dig. But it's, as I've said, the balance. you understand that today I'm dealing with guys who might not go so far with me, then you give them what you think they can take.
Yes.
I understand you have to analyze your crowd, adjust accordingly, blah, blah, blah. But at what point do you decide, okay, yes, first of all, most genres, actually all genres are divided. They have that hierarchy of this is for the real, for example, reggae is for the real reggae lovers. This is for, people who just, they just vibe. At what point as a DJ do you decide that I need to introduce people a little bit during my set? Like I need to introduce people to this deep thing.
That's a trick. See, like in piano, you can play a lot of the common.
Yeah.
Then in your set, you just bring two, just two deep songs. So the guys who know,
they'll just do like
they'll
this.
go, my boss, I hear you, yeah. But you just squeeze it in. But there are places where you go where it's deep, and you have to sweat to go deep. So that's the job of a DJ.
Now, I'll come to Parisha. Now, Parisha is those who are tasked, the revelers who are tasked to make the crowds go bloody, have fun more. What is the burden you have when the DJ is not working in sync with you? For example, you want this particular song, the DJ throws it into Afro beats, someone wants Nigos. How do you balance?
First of all, for me, that's what matter is, my mood depends on how high I am. And for most crowds, that's how it is.
Yes.
I promise you, there is, when was it? The last, not this weekend when we were at KP, there's the other time, and the DJ was just playing, those the cultural songs.
Yeah.
Yes. And they played the whole, but everyone was dancing because it was 2 a.m. and people were high and happy.
What DJ was playing?
I don't remember who.
It was Boogie. It was Boogie.
Well done, man. I was not paying attention.
Guys, you imagine you hear your Mbaru song at 2 a.m. you leave.
Yes.
That's the trick. That's what I'm saying. You
have
know
to
when
read the crowd.
Yeah.
As evenly as what's the word? Regular. You be in the crowd and even you have to look at the time because you realize it's like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. and you're like, there's no way.
I have to go home.
There's no way people are going to be mob hype, what. So you realize that at around 1 a.m. that is when it is going to catch properly. Yeah. So you have to just allow. Unless for you, you have to be home at a certain time, then sorry for you.
That's your
but
problem.
exactly, that is your own personal problem. But you see, you're just one person in a crowd of over, even 50 is a small number.
Yeah.
There are very many boys, just you.
So now let me ask, how do you reconcile the fact that one DJ has to play early? That those guys who come and the bang are like early sets, you want to set the tempo, and now you comes early. For example, you might be supporting Boogie and you're like, oh, Boogie said it's at 5 p.m. Let me fall in. And it's not striking that chord with the music you want. Though you have come in early. Yeah, Boogie. Yeah,
Again, at the end of that day,
Hey.
you're one person. It's not about you.
It's not about you.
Bogie has come here to do a job. He's been paid to do a job. He's an expert in this field. He knows what he's doing. He has read the crowd and realized that, you know what? I can't be playing Calm Wine for me, TikTok for me, and it's 4 p.m., 5 p.m. It does not make sense because
we
who
need
is
some
going
darkness.
to be what? Exactly,
We need some darkness.
We need some dark corners. Who's going to be whining and TikToking on the floor? No one. Exactly, the sun is still out. People have just come from work. They are doing. Let me do one, two.
vampire stage.
Exactly.
The income vampire attacking time has not arrived.
That's later.
So at the end of the day, you have to realize, you know what?
Okay.
I came at the wrong time. Or you're like, you know what? If I'm not enjoying, I'm going to just, vibe. I came to dance, but let me just vibe. If I can extend my time, I'll extend until, I get my 1 hour of dancing, then I head home.
Okay, guys. This has been nice. But last thing, against Kenya. Sunday at KPA. I just want your views. What do you think about your views? One, I want the Chidanda review, and then I want the rugby view. What you just expect, what your prediction will be against Kenya. Go ahead, ladies first.
First of all, Team Chidanda review, so I'm not going to give proper analysis and whatnot. But the matter is, considering how, first of all, how we played last weekend, and how I don't want to like give mob jazz, but like the attitude that people have had, but even the players themselves have had for the last few months, I don't see us winning. If we do win, it's going to be a tough one, a very, very tough one. Yes, a surprise, because we've not taken it seriously.
Yes.
Yeah, so people have been, I think, practicing in like their individual camps because of like the sevens. But I feel like once the sevens got done, things relaxed a bit, and yet people knew.
No news.
Yes, and yet people knew we still have this. Is it a tournament or what? Yes, coming up.
Yeah.
Yes, we still have it coming up. So guys waited for like, because I think we started practicing like 1 month and a half ago, or 2 months.
Yeah, like 6 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that does not make sense because you know this is a very serious tournament.
Yeah.
You actually need to put in enough time. Well, I do understand they needed to rest, but still there's that attitude of
Yeah, but based on how Kenya performed, I'm very much confident. They're not the Kenya we know. Many people wanted 60, 40, but they didn't drop many. So Boogie, what do you think?
When you weigh how Kenya look today, and first we look at the scores.
Yeah.
How was Uganda, Zambia? How was Kenya, Zambia?
Yeah.
The Zambian guys might have pulled up their socks, but still it shows you Kenya only scored in like the first half.
Yeah.
That's when they did all their things. So if Uganda comes and stays on the whole 80, I think we'll take it. But also we need to take it for the party.
The party!
For the party. We need to take it because playing for guys who have lost.
Hey.
But I'm going to be there on KPA. I'm with DJ Alza, DJ Aluda. We're going to be at the party. So the guys should win so that we rev. But I think Uganda will win, but a very slight margin.
Guys, thank you very much for coming in here. Thank you, podcast. Uganda, Kenya on the weekend on Sunday. Plenty of action expected. We expect to win that game. And even though we don't, we'll still have fun, the Ugandan style, and appear in office, open the laptops at 9:30. Not 8, but 9:30. 9:30 is midday curry. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Guys, thanks a lot.